Cotton Baldwin's
So what is the reason for that then?
turkey shortage, no turkeys.
So I better get mine now for Thanksgiving, pop in the freezer.
Was that COVID related too?
Well, you've got a chart of grain. And everything else.
Oh, yeah, so it's up, yeah. Well, yeah, but, no, so, I'll have to tell the guys, I did all that for them tomorrow. They won't care.
Oh my God, no.
Fred and I used to roll the turkeys for the harvest supper up to the Owasco.
Yeah.
We boned and rolled the whole turkey. I don't know how many we did. We just kept going until there wasn't any more. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Those
I don't know what they're gonna do up there this year.
those are good too.
Yeah.
And you could hardly tell the difference between the rolled one and once you cooked them, you'd swear it was all one piece.
Yeah.
I think Mr. Eggleston is coming, correct?
Yeah.
Man of the hour.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll call the meeting to order. We have some members excused. Mr. Fiacco, Mr. Lewis, Mr. DeVitor. And our code enforcement officer is here. Allie's here from the Owasco Lake Watershed. And you folks want to identify yourselves? I'm Ron Podolak, by the way. I'm chair of the committee.
I'm Steve Argentary,
Yeah.
with Michelle Argentary.
Hello, how are you?
Good, nice to meet you.
Property owner.
At 341 Sunset Beach Drive. You'll be discussing today.
Yep. Very good. So we call a meeting to order, 4 o'clock. And we approve the agenda. So who will move it?
I will move that.
Bill moves to approve the agenda. Second,
I will second.
roll call.
Karen?
Yeah, we just have to take Larry Libertor off present. He's just on there twice.
I must have the one where he's not.
Yeah,
online.
yeah.
All right.
Yes,
Good.
yes.
And Bill,
Yes.
Bob,
Yes.
Ryan,
Yes.
and Ron.
Yes, motion carried. Planning board approved the minutes of the July 6th meeting is submitted. So any changes, additions, or deletions to the minutes from the July meeting? Hearing none, anybody want to move those minutes as they are?
I'll move it.
Okay. And Bob moves it, second.
Yes.
Brian. Roll call.
Karen,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
Bob.
Yep.
Ryan,
Yes.
and Ron.
Yes, motion carried. Which brings us to the Argentary site plan review. And I see Mr. Eggleston has arrived just in time.
Yes, I just get into that. My apologies, I just started getting a sniffle this afternoon.
Oh.
I thought I would come incognito, but you recognized me anyway.
Oh, yes.
The Argentaries have owned this property for a number of years, and they'd like to transition to a year-round permanent home and as their primary New York State home. And in looking at some of the options, the condition of the existing cottage, it's really truly a cottage that has a lot of regrettable additions and alterations over the years. So we decided it was best to remove the cottage, put in a new cottage. The setbacks will all be conforming. The building coverage will be conforming, and the impervious coverages will be less non-conforming. Right now, it has a large driveway in the entrance area, which we're reducing substantially. We're keeping the existing garage and it will be used for storing the cars in the winter especially, but they also, because the house is quite a bit down from the garage and the road, they wanted to have a driveway area they could park, and their adult kids would also quite often be driving. So we've put together the best, we thought, redevelopment of the lot. And we have proposed 2 bioswales, which I've engineered based on the percentage of impermeable roof coverage. So that we've split the upper area parking lot garage into the upper bioswale, the house in the lower bioswale, so we treat the water before it goes into the lake. I did get, and I appreciate passing on the comments from Abby, and I have revised, and these are dated today, revised the site plan with a couple minor differences.
Thank you.
And I'm kind of sure we get one before we leave. And then also a revised narrative. Again, I have highlighted the differences on this. And I trust you have seen Abby's comments that she had made.
Yes, we have.
And so in addressing the comments, and my apologies, not in any particular order, although I took the comments. The preference in the Owasco watershed is using sediment logs. And the sediment logs are best used when they're on a horizontal surface. And then you bring the ends up at a 45-degree angle just to kind of catch the water and contain it. They don't work as well when they're running up the water, up the line, because we're doing some grading along the south side to create a intentional swale so that water doesn't go into the south neighbor. So the only changes we're doing on the south side is getting a better defined swale. So it has very minimal amount of disturbance. But what I thought was best was keep the sediment sack at the bottom of the bioswale where it's level, and then use the silt fence up to the established driveway. So I think that will be a little hardier to the wear and tear, but also help to just make sure sediment and water doesn't go onto the neighbor's property, although most of it will be going down the hill following the grade. I did the same on the north side. I left the sediment sack horizontal with return edges, and then ran up the property line where there's disturbance with the silt fence. Again, on the upper bioswale, there's one below the bioswale, and then ran it up where there's disturbance. So again, I hope that helps to alleviate some of Abby's concerns. One of the other concerns she had was the having a 50-foot construction entrance, temporary construction entrance. The purpose of that is to have a rough stone driveway that knocks the mud off the trucks as they come and go out of here. What we have with large trucks of this nature would be the excavation, removing the soils and spills. Because it's a small lot, when they excavate, they'll remove it off-site because it's just a small, you can't really stockpile it. And a lot of it really isn't worthy of topsoil to save. So then the demolition, you have dumpsters that come, they have an excavator in place, knocks down the building, crunches it up, puts it in the excavator. And then we would have then the foundation, the concrete trucks and that type of thing that would be working around the outside. After the foundation is up, most of the stuff, you might have a skid steer or something like that, but that stays on site. So what the contractor has proposed, we're working with Don Petrocci, who has worked in the Owasco town before and in the watershed, and also Eric Brillo, who's has a great reputation for excavation. we're proposing to put in a temporary stone staging area. So what we're gonna do is between the existing blacktop and the house itself, we're going to put down filter fabric and rock so that we have a stone staging area. So really, any of the trucks coming and going are never in the mud. Okay, you have an excavator who's in the mud, but the excavator stays on site until it's ready for the. So I'm hoping that that might be a good concession. What I hate to do is dig up a blacktop driveway to then put in stone, then take up the stone and put in back blacktop. So that was our response to that concern.
There are other ways around that too. I mean, as long as you've got, you can sweep the area clean with,
Correct.
you know, tractor with a broom mounted on the front, or like the highway departments do,
Exactly.
as long as it's blacktop.
Yeah, and that just takes good monitoring. And
Right.
We're working with a seasoned construction manager and excavator who does, I don't know if you're familiar with Brillo Excavation and Skaneateles. And they do state jobs. They do jobs where you have to pay attention. So I'm confident that they will be able to successfully do this with minimal disruption, pollution, erosion, or any of that. So for the most part, the construction sequence is very similar. I just added in that phase of putting in the stone staging area. And again, Don Petrucci likes to keep a clean site. That way, the homeowners think he's doing a good job.
Let's hope so.
So that is pretty much our response, and I feel I am interested in Abby's thoughts on this. Again, I got the letter last night. Thank you, Pat, for sharing it, and didn't have a chance to share it with Abby ahead of time. I also do want to note for the record that the Argentaries did go to all the adjacent neighbors around and do have a letter stating that they have no objection to the project.
That was my next question.
I get paid by the hour and I'm already over budget, so.
Yeah, you're doing
Everyone keep
well.
going fast.
Yeah. Doing well, Bob. Wow. You guys want to see? Karen, you recognize some of the names. So I will turn this over to Ally for a minute or two.
I'm sorry.
Are you?
It's not the first time. So first of all, thank you for extending the silt fences along the boundary. Those are making the site look better. This goes for, I don't know if there was confusion with the socks and then running perpendicular versus horizontal or parallel to topography, but that generally goes for all erosion control. So the silt fences will still need to be, uncoded properly to make sure those are actually, buttoned into the ground. We see a lot of situations where the shoreline winds can rip them apart, so maintenance with it being perpendicular to the topography as well as the winds will require some maintenance. I heard something about concrete chalk, or something I neglected to mention here. I often see on the shoreline of many different sites that the concrete washout area isn't always maintained. Sometimes we see stormwater runoff, carrying concrete washout. So to just have your contractors be aware of kind of maintaining wherever they're washing out their concrete, whether that is from a lining, that's an issue we see all the time. Let's see, what else do I have here? I thank you for the stabilized construction entrance. Just a quick question. Do you know what size stone they're going to be using to come in and out of there?
It was, what they were doing is, you have the blacktop which remains, and then we were using burner stone.
Okay. All right, we'll keep an eye on it.
Sure.
If there's any issues
Oh,
with
no, I'm
stones
sorry.
coming off the property, as well, then we can address that.
Okay, great.
And then I think I was reading when you were mentioning stockpiling. So where exactly are the excavated materials going?
They'll be offsite.
Okay, so they're just being.
Yeah.
removed.
The
Okay.
site's way too small to be
Yeah.
able to stop.
Yeah. Okay. And then just originally, you had mentioned that you did calculate the capacity of the bioswale and that it can maintain all of that. Okay.
This is a formula that even architects can use,
Yeah.
developed in the town of Skaneateles. And I'm sure the water characteristics are similar here.
Okay.
But what it's based on is impermeable coverage in a 10-year storm.
Okay.
Okay.
Just wanted to make sure that was
Sure.
able- Sometimes people mention it, but they don't actually.
Right.
add,
And I
take
even,
it.
I even show my work.
Yes, yes. Thank you for doing that as well and providing the details of the bioscale so we can monitor that. And I'm just going to relay how important it is that that outlet is protected with the riprap, it's already indicated on the site. When that drain gets dug in, obviously that's intersecting the sediment log and part of the silt fence. So to just, you know, if you have to move that out of the way, to get that drain in, to put it back and to put some straw and seed over that as soon as possible, as already indicated in the plan, will be important. Just based on the topography and everything kind of go with that direction. So that's where I see the biggest drift, and that's where I'll mostly be spending my time when I'm on site to ensure that side is okay.
And as you notice, the western bioswale goes in first,
Mm-hmm.
so that it's there for the whole duration before they tear down the house. The other one, it's more logical to add it later.
Yeah, yep, that certainly makes sense. Unless something comes up and while you guys are discussing the rest, I think that's the majority of it for me. We got my comments, so it seems like the majority of these things were addressed. A quick question, was that a septic cover on site?
Oh,
or
I'm
is it-
sorry, it's a sewer pump station.
Okay, okay,
We're on sewer.
all right. So just trying to make sure there were no surprises there with tax maps.
Yep, exactly.
All right, thanks.
So, just so you understand Ally's concerns, so close to the lake and with the water quality issues that we've been facing.
Sure.
And I'm sure as landowners, you folks want to make sure that the lake is preserved so that your investment is protected as well. Yes,
Yeah, and to further communicate that if there is sediment that makes it in the lake, the DEC can fine the homeowner $37.5 per day per violation. So almost a 40 grand fine per day is something we're always trying to avoid.
Thank
So
you.
that's why it's really important.
Yes. that's why we try to head it off,
Yes.
try to head it off
Yeah.
before such a thing happens.
That's it.
And I will mention that Don Petrocci and Eric Brill did go out to the site today just to review and be confident. And there'll be very minimal construction traffic on the south side,
Okay.
also just to reinforce that. They've got more area on the north and most everything will be clear.
And the trees are gonna be maintained and that's correct. Okay.
Yep. Good trees make good neighbors.
That's-
Patrick, how about you?
I
Everything,
did get a call from Don Petrocci, who was on site, because I'm working.
Oh, you
with him
did?
On a couple other projects right now, and I've worked with Don in the past, and he really is great. He pays attention to detail, and I'm familiar with Brillo also. So I think with them on board and with Ally helping periodic
inspections.
be in good shape.
So you folks realize that the two people behind you will be making
They
visits.
should be in front of me, I think.
Probably.
They should be sitting in front
You're
of me.
probably right.
Well, thank you both in advance for your diligence. Yes.
Yes, but it could save you a lot of money.
I hope you do. $0 additional.
Yeah.
Thank you.
that's the whole-
So we're good otherwise, Patrick?
Yeah, absolutely.
Code
And
enforcement.
Don's thorough. He does a nice job.
Mhm.
The ladies have the mask on.
Yeah, you're right.
Nothing personal.
Okay, I open it up to the board. Questions, comments, anyone?
Pretty thorough review and future planning, so.
Mhm.
My questions were answered
Yeah.
about the bushes on the south side and the trees and
Sure.
what they were gonna use in between the garage and the house.
I have a quick question I forgot to ask. When is the project going to be started? Are we waiting until after the winter or are we starting? Okay. perfect.
The dumpster's there.
We want to be here for next
Yeah,
summer.
roll off
The
waiting. for-
dumpster is ready.
I just wanted to point out, and I don't know how critical this is, on the site plan application, it specified a 3-bedroom, which I'm sure is incorrect based on everything else listed. I don't know if that needed to be updated or not.
It's for,
Right,
it is for.
right. Yeah, I figured. I didn't know if that made much of a difference.
One of our kids would be slighted if they didn't get there.
Right.
Yeah. Yes. We could change that though. Bob, anything? Good.
Me.
Okay. You're already happy with it then? I'm sure you've already said it was good.
Yeah, yes.
Okay, Bill. So we could entertain a motion to accept the plans as they are.
It's Modified on
and
September 7th.
Modified, yep. 9/7.
Yeah, I'll move that we accept the plan as modified on the 7th with the review of the discussion that we had with Ellie, Patrick, and the September 7th changes.
Okay, motion's been made. Second,
A second.
a motion made and seconded. Seconded by Karen. And roll call.
Karen,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
Bob,
Yes.
Brian,
Yes.
and Ron.
Yes,
Thank you very much.
motion carried.
Okay,
Thank you very much.
thanks. Sure thing.
Look forward to retiring here.
Good.
All right. Yep.
Got it? All right, thank you.
I like it.
Yep.
We'll invite you for a drink. Thank you all. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
I hope you play golf.
We belong to Pastora, by the way.
Oh, do you?
I heard you chatting. We did belong to Owasco years ago before children, so hopefully we'll come back.
Don't forget Dutch Hall.
Yeah, now you gotta go to Dutch Hollow.
Love it there. That's a great course.
Yeah.
Thank you. Have a great
Bye.
afternoon.
Is there anything further that any board members would like to bring before the board?
I have one question.
Mhm.
The house on Burtis Point was torn down.
It did get torn down?
It's all torn down.
Where's this?
So
So that would be
101 Stewart.
That would be Patrick's question.
I just, yes, the only thing up is the fireplace as of yesterday.
Maybe,
We,
Where this place is going?
maybe why I
no,
was
Sinclair,
Sinclair's
Mark
old home.
Downing lived there, Sinclair, and now Stewart lives there, and they
Remember I
came
pulled
before
out
us.
I even pulled out the,
They came before us to renovate or.
Yeah, they
It
did. They
wasn't,
need-
it
they
was in the
actually needed
same footprint, everything.
they needed
The
a
walls were
couple
gonna remain,
variances.
I
The
thought.
walls were supposed to
Do you
remain.
remember I
Correct?
even showed you the,
Yeah, yeah.
the packet at the time, but
Hmm.
then again, I was out after that, so I don't know if something came in.
How long ago was this on
Let's ask
Brutus Point?
Patrick.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh.
this past week, everything's down.
I took- was it
More people
101?
are, yes,
101?
101, yeah. Right next
Patrick?
to
Yeah.
Sorry.
Stewart's on Burtis Point, 101, it's
Mhm.
down.
Whole
The
place.
whole house is down.
Yes. They're basically gonna stay on the same footprint. Once they started to do some more exploring there with they decided to just start from scratch, but they're gonna, maintain the same footprint. I did get revised plans from the
Okay.
architect. It doesn't change the site plan per se.
Okay.
But Ellie and I were talking earlier that before they started removing some of the structure, they put silt fence all the way around the perimeter, which was beautiful. And when I went down on a windy day, it was flapping. in the
Flapping in
wind.
the breeze.
I
So I
know.
called the
Yeah.
architect and they were supposed to put silt socks. I don't, which we required, and they were gonna just run them on the outside of the silt fence. leave the silt fence for decoration, I guess, because it wasn't functional.
Yeah.
So it didn't change the site plan.
Yeah, no, it's all covered, the foundation.
And it probably is
Yeah.
better for them.
Yeah.
And I didn't
yeah.
know they had done that. When she'd come in, I said, no, that's, I have all the stuff here.
You know.
Yeah,
They're all
I don't know
saying,
if it
no, they're
happened
gonna
when I
tear
was
it down. I
gone.
go, that isn't what we approved, but.
Good thing it's been close.
I don't.
Well, thank you very much. That's good.
Okay, anything else come before the board this afternoon?
Anyone know what's going on the hillside just to the northwest of the cell tower across from Hoadley's nursery there up on the hill? They've got equipment up there. And can't quite see what's going on, but there's excavators and dozers. Right in there, it's an open field. With
That was where that tower was gonna go.
That's where it is now,
That's where
right?
it
Isn't
is.
that where the
Well,
tower-
there's a tower there now, but this is like 150 yards
It's gonna be.
north of it.
Huh.
There's equipment there and there's trenching and
Yeah,
bunch of
Patrick, that
earth,
too.
earth being moved or whatever. I don't know.
Probably have to ask Pete.
I don't know if it's his property or.
Is it the farmland there?
There's
Were they
farm-
putting in like watering?
There's farmland. But
Well, didn't the tower go in? Wasn't that Hoadley's property?
yeah, the tower went in, but I think this is another.
That's
piece of-
farmland. That could just be drainage practices going in, Bill, do you think?
Well, they,
Seringo's land on the other side of that, doesn't it?
yeah, I think it's Serena.
To the,
But,
to the east of that.
Yeah, it could be drainage. But they've got a whole bunch of equipment up there.
Patrick, have you heard anything about this?
I'm sorry.
Sorry.
Just to the north of Hoadley's nursery and the cell tower that went in. There's a whole bunch of equipment, excavators, dozers, earth moving, I don't know, it's just farm drainage. What is
Yeah,
going
or
on?
maybe one of the, maybe they're doing some highway work up there. There's no permits, open permits.
Yeah, it's just farmland.
Could be
It's up in the
just-
field. It wouldn't
They
be
could be
highway.
doing tiling.
Yeah,
That's,
It's a funny time of year to do that, because they got crops in the fields.
Yeah.
yeah, but there's no, that would be just hay or whatever. There's not.
Yeah,
no
We'll
grass.
check it when we're up.
What road
I'll check
is
it
it on?
right on 30.
It's right on 38A.
Okay.
across
Just
from
look
Hoadley's
up-
nursery.
Up the hill before you get
Near
to
Martin
Hoadley's.
Road, Valentine Road.
Oh.
Yeah, it's up in, I don't know, John Tanous used to live right in the house right
Mhm.
there. It's right up behind there.
You know, I'll check it. I'm going up that way tonight.
Yeah, so I don't know, it's just curious what
Yeah.
what was going on.
Well, that's good.
Whoever is available to help reduce impacts if any farmer has an issue, so if it is tiling or a drainage issue,
Yeah.
or storm line, we can always
Yeah.
reach out to them.
There is a trench coming down the hill toward the highway, so. Yeah. So,
We'll check on it.
Yep.
Thanks for the heads up.
Anything from anyone else this evening? If not, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Second.
Second.
Bill seconds.
Time is up. Worth
28.
Yeah.
Oh, we didn't bring any here. Oh, no.
Yes, yes. Charging in the light, like a channel. I called Tim Schneider. We've done it once before. He was trying to call him. He said, "No, they have that."
Joint permit.
And that- What do I call it?
Oh, that's a joint permit and you get that through DEC and Army
Out of
Corps.
court.
DEC Region 7 out of Corps.